If you're still not watching Ubel Blatt after its third episode, what are you doing? I get it that and I acknowledge that apparently I'm in the minority, for the anime community, that I like this show a lot more than a lot of people. But I just don't get it. I truly don't. Like, the show is so freaking fun, and with each passing episode, the world and story is expanding. They could have easily, I literally walked into the show thinking it was just a generic revenge story of some sort. And with each passing episode, we are getting deeper into the world, more characters being thrown our way. The political landscape is a lot more complex than we first thought. Our boy literally confronts the people he wants to kill within this episode, and immediately not only gets shot down, but it brings up the question that, could he really just kill them at this point? Like, even if he actually could kill them, like he wasn't getting frozen in place by the guards, would that disrupt the landscape of this world so much that innocent people would just be screwed if so? Then you look at the end of the episode, and a man who's trying to protect essentially a child, basically says, "Aha, my knife shows that I have authority over you." And then he's like, "Haha, my knife is larger than yours." Basically says that whoever he works for is more impressive than whoever nice guy works for, and yeah, he's gonna do horrible things to a child. Insert our boy slicing and dicing him like he's Levi going up against a bunch of mindless titans. The show is edge, but there's so much more to it, and I'm not gonna lie. There are moments in this episode and moments in prior episodes that actually do remind me of Studio Ufotable. And before people get on their keyboards smashing away saying how ignorant I am, I'm not wrong. Ufotable has a very unique style when it comes to their lighting and effects that makes their character renders pop more than a lot. And there's a specific moment with this girl who, pulls back a bowstring and the arrow's like a lightning effect of some sort. You freeze frame that and show it to a random anime fan, they might think it's Ufotable. Like, it looked that good. Now, overall movement doesn't move as much as something like a Fate Stay Night or something, no. But I swear to God, people overreact that this show, is sloppy. Like, there are elements of wide shots and even some up close and personal shots, and hell, sometimes the movement, yeah, it's not the cleanest thing ever, but the show is constantly doing more than a lot of these random ass isekais out here that are getting praised for far more for far less, where this show's just a legitimately good adventure series. Yeah, it's Berserk light, it ain't gonna be as deep as a Berserk, but the show is literally, I don't know, man, I swear to God, you could take this exact show, imagine everything is as it is, and you label Studio Madhouse or something, and I swear to God, people are gonna rank it higher. So I don't know. It's like people have a bias against the show before it even dropped. I don't know what it is, but this show's great. And I say, if you're still sleeping on this show, thinking it's just oh, it's just a generic edgelord show, nah, there's a lot going on, and I think the dynamic of literally one of the people who was gonna be a party member realizing that the dude he wants to work with apparently killed the brother to the princess that he works for. It got real deep. This shit's good. I refuse to budge on that statement. Of course, if you want to support my work though and see my full thoughts to these amazing episodes, do have a Patreon where we got those full live reactions if you're so interested. So, I don't know, man. I make the mistake every week. I'm like, hey, maybe I'm just getting the bad pull, a bad batch of comments that makes me think people hate this show more. Because based on my comment section, I'm not saying my comment section's massively raving about it, but it doesn't make me assume that a large portion of people talking about this show online have distaste for it. I make the mistake every week. I'm like, well, let me check Reddit. God damn it, why did I check Reddit? Let me check Twitter. Oh God, it's even worse. It's just I don't get it. I have a much wider anime palette than a lot of people, but I've been around this community long enough to know that this is a show that usually would get massive buzz. And I don't think it's just because it's airing on a busy day. I think people legitimately are just not vibing with this one. I get that it's a 20-year-old series, but I think that's part of the charm that helps it pop out. And there's a lot of moments in this episode that are just, they're so good. You gotta really notice too, I'm rarely gonna actually talk about damn, look at how gory that is. I do think it's cool, but that's not the big thing about this. I think my two favorite points in this episode are the political implications if he does take out these 7 heroes, and also the political implications of what this man who is trying desperately to protect a child would happen to him and probably his family if he would have went up against these people. That stuff is so fascinating. Let's get the hero stuff out of the way. So he immediately jumps Glenn or whatever his name was and gets frozen in place. Obviously we know he's a badass because he was still moving slightly, which apparently is impossible. But the whole idea that he gets pardoned, like, you know, he's looking at him like, hey, like, we get where he's coming from. Like, imagine all that him and his people have suffered. We'll pardon the kid. All's well that ends well. And he just gets left in such shock after that because the people are cheering. Had he struck down this man, and had he struck down all these people, we know the atrocities they've committed. But currently, it almost feels like a necessary evil. That if you remove them, how many innocents are going to be left without protection, without people looking after? Because despite the horrible shit that Ally did to Ally, it's very clear that these people around are not suffering. People outside, probably. And that makes it a lot more interesting for, like, what should he do about revenge? And then you add in an even deeper story with, so apparently our boy has already killed the brother to this princess who jumps our bitch ass. And basically turns out the boy that's been helping us, yeah, he's devoted to this family. So it's a very complicated situation. And then insert the, I can tell you're strong enough, I need your help to rescue the older princess. And it's just like that web is so fascinating because that makes because I just assumed like, oh, here's the group that we're gonna be with for a bit because, you know, the show started off with them. And now we're like, oh shit, we've already killed someone that he's loyal to. Awkward. But yeah, the end of the episode was definitely my favorite part. Not just because of human Beyblade action, but because this man, like, there's an element of creepiness, but he legitimately just came off like, no, I want to help you guys. And then, you know, they do the whole dagger off, and the fact that he didn't know what to do. I didn't know what he should do in this moment. This Full Metal Alchemist looking character, swear to God, he would have fit right in with FMA characters. I imagine he would have still fought to protect her, but either he would have ended up dead or, I don't know. Like, it's very hard to say because I doubt he would have been able to take all of them at once. Some would have got away, and then what would have happened? The political landscape is so interesting in this show. There's a lot of characters, there's a lot of places, there's a lot of information to remember, but I don't feel like it's too much. Like, I feel like it's actually easy to digest. It's very hard for me to say you're gonna get lost following the show. Maybe you're gonna have a hard time keeping track of names, but I have that difficulty with names in general. But in terms of actually understanding what's going on in this world, it's pretty crystal clear, and I think the show's a lot deeper than probably a lot are given credit for, but apparently I just like trash, according to the internet, when I look at opinions of this show and how it deserves a 5 out of 10 rating, and I'm like, what in God's name are people smoking? I don't want any. You let me know your thoughts and feelings, though. What are you feeling? We're now 3 episodes deep into Ubel Blatt. You gonna keep on watching it? You let me know down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring that bell, and like I mentioned, we do have those full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we got Shadow Clone Rex, Zane Zardox, Natasha Ann Henry, Agus TR, Leaf Solmond, Bill, Waka, and we also have Merc, so I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.